Girlies, I don't know if you can see this from the way I'm about to pose the thing, but you see all the police cars down there? Can't even properly see it. Hold on, let me switch the camera around. Over there, that car that you see, that's kind of on an angle, that was because a active police chase just finished out front of the apartment complex I live in. They came up, they were driving next to the train tracks, driving next to the train tracks, not on the side of them, like literally like next to the rail, and we're like going through, and then he broke through the fucking barrier and then crashed his car right fucking there. He then jumps out of the car and runs over to like this area over here, like this, like right next to the river. They've probably caught him by now unless he went for a swimmer. But holy shit. Oh, the benefits of staying up late, you get to see this shit like this. So lucky. Oh, I'm so freaking excited to get the Wicked Burger. Look at it, it's freaking green.
I'm trying this, electric green.
Freaking green, I'm so freaking excited. It's gonna taste like green.
For the Mum, Georgia and Dad need to know about this.
Okay, so it is about like 5 in the morning-ish. Sun's rising. I just got finished from partying from a night out. I was pretty drunk when I was in the club. Not as drunk now, but I had a couple of goals that I wanted to achieve for tonight because I don't go out like partying super often. So I wanted to get drunk. I wanted to get a little drunk. Definitely check that one off. I wanted to go out dancing. That was almost disrupted. My friend, because we were kind of going out partying to celebrate my friend, not celebrate her, but like going out for like a little singles night out because my friend just broke up with her partner of about 1.5 years or so. So she wanted to like get out there to the world, but by the time I got there, which was a couple of hours later from whenever everyone else was hanging out, she was like kind of on death's door a little bit, both like physically and emotionally. So eventually she kind of broke down crying about her partner, which is, you know, perfectly normal. That's what happens. We got an Uber and called her home. Then we went to the club, went to the court in Perth, and danced the night away. I got an unspeakable amount of vodka Red Bulls. An unspeakable amount of them. Had some shots and got to a pretty good place. Caught up with my friends pretty fast because I'm pretty much a lightweight. I don't drink very often, so when I do, like, kind of passes through my system pretty zippity zappity. But then, so getting drunk was on my list. And there was one thing I wanted to do tonight. I just wanted to make out with someone tonight. God forbid. Like, I just, like, kind of wanted to go to a club, get a little drunk, be a little crazy and reckless, and just, like, make out with a guy on the dance floor like I did in New York that one time. And I just kind of wanted to get in touch with that. And at the very end, it was literally at the very end of the night, I was like, there's this hot guy that I was on the dance floor. We talked in the bathroom and just about stuff, and then he went out to the dance floor, did his thing, and we were pretty far away from each other on the dance floor for a while, and then eventually we just ended up getting, like, it's that natural polarity. You just find yourself getting closer and closer. And at a point I was like, you know what, you're gonna regret it if you just don't be upfront. So I just whispered in his ear. To be fair, this was drunken courage, mind you. I certainly wouldn't do this if I was completely stone cold sober. But I was like, hey, are you single? And he was like, yeah. And then I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen you on the dance floor and I really want to kiss you. And he was like, okay. And then I was like, period. And then we made out for a little bit, not for very long, and then we went out for like a couple of minutes, and then I was just like, hey, I'm heading off for the night, give me your Instagram. Go to the Instagram. I was like, if you ever want to hang out sometime, let me know. And then kiss goodbye, and then skedaddled. And by the time I got outside of Connections, which is where we went to later on, which is where I left just from earlier, it is now sun out. The sun is rising. What a beautiful thing that is. But I'm just, controversially, I'm walking home because I want to see how far out there's people sleeping. I need to be quiet. I don't want to wake anybody. I'm walking out front of the like the Aboriginal support centre in the city, which you can see there. And often there are Indigenous people sleeping up front, like unhoused folks sleep at the front, so I have to be quiet because I don't want to wake them, because I'm not a fucking asshole. So, yeah, so now I'm walking home, because honestly, I just don't feel like hopping the Uber right now, and I have enough spirit in me to walk. If I change my mind, I will be sure to order that Uber, but at least if I make a little bit of a distance, it will be a bit cheaper. Woo! So I'm gonna see how far I can get. And I also have a little meet up with a boy that I had sex with at 11. It is now probably about past 5 o'clock. So 8 hours sleep isn't exactly in the cards, but like, listen, if you can't accept me at my 5 hours sleep, you don't deserve me at my 8 hours, you know what I mean? So off we trot into the day. Yay! Also, tonight was a very important lesson for me in bravery, because I was picking fights with a lot of people tonight, and not in the sense of like being violent for the sake of violence, and I wasn't even violent. I just like throughout Northbridge tonight, there were a couple of people that were being homophobic, and you know, someone like me, I don't appreciate that. So I was like, there was this guy that came up to me earlier in the night, like before I even drank anything, and he looks at me and said, "What the fuck is that?" Which is, they think they're being original with that one. Unfortunately, that one's been used quite a few times before. I wish I could let them know in some form of like formal capacity, but unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to let them bask in their unoriginality. It is what it is. But he was like, "What the fuck is that?" And usually what I do in those situations, I like cower, I get really sad, it scares me into like kind of going really quiet, or I do just yell at them, but I yell like something kind of very uncontrolled. Oh, I'm gonna die. Nope. I usually yell something pretty uncontrolled, like, so I like yell like, "Fuck you," like I get really angry. With this time, I found myself very composed. I did yell back at him, but I like got in his face. I got like in his face, and I think I called him a date rapist because he had white jeans on. First thing that came to mind, I guess. So, and then I realized it was a very impactful moment. Probably this isn't the case for anybody, and I don't encourage people to go picking fights with people that are aggressive towards them, because sometimes those people will back up that aggression with physical aggression, and that's not a position you want to put yourself in. But with this guy in particular, I kind of got up in his face and started yelling back at him, and he immediately cowered away from me. So to the people that like, it's a very common experience when you're a little bit more feminine presenting as a gay man or a trans woman, or just feminine presenting in any capacity, it's very common for men to try and take advantage of you and make you feel small. But the fact of the matter is, they're small. They're fucking small, tiny human beings. And so if you show them, in a sense, that you're not afraid of them, that scares the shit out of them. Because they are so used to walking along this earth with their cocks out, acting like they have any semblance of power in the world just because they were born liking pussy. And that is not the case. Okay? So, again, I will fluctuate like any emotion does. There will be times where guys will make fun of me in the future and I'll be too scared to say anything. But this was a very rare occasion where I just felt like fighting back. And I did. And I noticed that in the face of just fighting back, they completely like withdraw. Because they think that they can get to you. They can scare you into submission. And when you show that you're not going to submit to them, that's a terrifying thought for them. It's a lot more trouble than they thought they were going to get into. So I'm not saying fight fire with fire. But also, do not be afraid to stand up for yourself. And I say this as someone who's very afraid to stand up for themselves a lot. And if I can fucking do it, any of you bitches who this relates to and watching this video can also do it. Because I left with not a scratch on me. But there will probably be a day where I will leave with a scratch. It's a pretty common queer experience. But, I won't, I usually leave those confrontations feeling really bad about myself that I let somebody say that about me. And for this, like, I felt like I tackled it in a really dignified way of standing up for myself. I'm really proud of myself for that. And that's a feeling I much prefer to the feelings I've had about these kind of encounters in the past. You know? And then, like, there was this lady that was out front of Connections calling, like, being like, there's all these faggots in there. Like, that's what she was saying. And I said to her, I saw it and I just was like, can you grow the fuck up? That's what I said to her. And she was like, oh, no, I love faggots. And I'm like, baby, if you love us, you wouldn't call us that. And it's like, I get it. Like, I get calling your gay friends faggots and all that kind of stuff. But really, if you are what I'm assuming, I mean, maybe she was a gay, maybe she was a, hello. Maybe she was like a gay woman and maybe she was a gay woman and I don't understand. I didn't understand maybe her humor in that moment, but I was pretty drunk at the time and I was trying to save face, but I did kind of go at her a little bit. I was like, can you grow the fuck up? Like, why would you say something like that? In the presence of a gay club, like, do you know where the fuck you are? Stupid ass bitch. And then, the security guard kind of, was like, hey. And that was good because I was trying to, front being sober for the security guard. And because I picked a fight with the lady, he just kind of wanted to rush me through security, like ASAP. So he did. So I didn't even have to front. Woo! And then, yeah. Then I went to the club, had fun, danced, made out with a boy. All the good things. All the good things. So, moral of the story is, these people actually hold so much fear in their heart for people like me and for people like other queer people in the world. They're actually so scared, and that's why they try to tear you down so like ferociously. And you discover that behind this display of bravado, trying to make you feel small in those moments, it's actually such a palpable sense of fragility. And I did realize that tonight. And again, that is not always the case. Some of these people are actually very violent and very aggressive. And it is important to understand the nuance if you can. But in this moment, I just felt like not letting it slide. And there is something to be said about being the bigger person and letting it slide and just being like, you know what, that person's sad, I'm not going to go to their level. But I will say, as far as like a sensation goes, I feel much more at peace with that interaction now than I've ever felt about an interaction like that in the past. You know? Because sometimes with people like me, I kind of look at myself sometimes. I talked about this a little bit in video. I talk about like I kind of separate myself between myself and the younger version of myself. And when somebody says something like that to you, it kind of reverts you back to your child state of shame. Because shame is almost a very childlike emotion. But it's a childlike emotion that really comes on when you're an adult. Because shame is a landfill emotion, says Trixie Mattel. And so when I think about the idea of someone trying to reduce me to that child and make that child version of me feel terrible, I want to stand up for that kid. I want to stand up for that person. Because they don't deserve that. And in the same sense, when you kind of go in a roundabout way, I just know I don't deserve that. And if somebody said that to one of my friends, we'd absolutely be having words. So I'm like, if I wouldn't let somebody speak to my friend like that, why would I ever let them speak to me like that? So, is retaliating always the answer? No, it's not. But sometimes coming out to bat for yourself makes your heart feel cared for in a way that can often be unfamiliar. So when the time is right, and I think anybody who's watching the video knows when that time will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, just because somebody displays an outward confidence and boldness and audacity enough to say something so horrible to you, that doesn't mean that on the inside they're not terribly weak human beings. So fight for you deserve that space. Take that space, diva. So if you want to call a homophobe a date rapist, call a homophobe a date rapist. Love the vibes of an abandoned theme park / festival in the morning. Mental health tree. A bit eerie, I'd say. Oh, girly pop nation, this is feeling like a rough day today. A rough fucking day. So, remember, I think I mentioned this, so the guy that I, in my last vlog that I was waiting for, like, a response back from. So he did eventually get back to me. And it was fine, it was nice, he was like, he apologized profusely and was like, he apologized profusely and like, sorry, I've just been really busy with work. Let's hang out. We started to hang out today, Sunday. So there's a couple of outlying factors that play into my emotional state right now. It's the part of it is I think that I'm not running on very much sleep because I was out all night last night drinking. I just haven't eaten anything yet today. I had some sausages in the morning, like literally at 5 a.m. when I got home as like a hangover snack. But so I guess I have like eaten something fairly significant, but I don't know, when I'm oh shit, someone wants to take the spot. Fuck me. I'm trying to do a story time. Do you at the very least want to back the fuck up so I can get out? What the fuck are you waiting for? Alright, whatever. So, I went and hung out with him at 11 and we were gonna go walk his dogs. And we did. And, we established quite a good banter over the phone. Where, like, we were just taking, like, stabs at each other, like, and when I say it back now, it sounds so bad. Like, it's kind of like, it almost feels like it was like a warning sign for like something, but I don't know. But like, you know, I like it when people call me fat and stuff. I think that's funny. I think it's funny, at least in moderation, right? Because I know I'm not fat, so it's like, it's a fairly chill above board joke for me. So it's like, it doesn't really impact me terribly. However, so we go to hang out with each other. I meet up with him. And the whole fucking day, man, this guy is just being absolutely nasty to me. And I think it's under the guise of like banter. I think it's like, he's like, so like, he's like, you know, he's continuing his jokes saying I'm not fit. And he also like, you know, adds to that. Like, and like, I was just getting like excited about a topic we were talking, and then he like told me to like, he was like, God, you don't need to shout. Like, he was like kind of telling me to be quiet and be more chill. And then he would make fun of me for like, I don't know, being open about like sexual related topics in a public setting. And like, listen, I understand that's not everyone's tea, but like, he made me feel so judged for it. And then he like, with his dogs we were walking, there was like a problem with them, and he like they I don't know, like they were, I don't know what, like fucking, he like raised his voice at me about his dogs, and like, and fucking, what else the fuck happened? Like he made fun of the way I dress. He made fun of me, the fact that I stutter. Listen, it is no secret to anybody that sometimes my mouth moves faster than my brain, and I glitch a little bit. And that joke is funny for a time, but when I'm trying to have a genuine conversation with somebody about like certain topics, and they just like take a moment of me just like trying to find my words and start taking the piss out of me for it, it's annoying. It's annoying, and it's mean, okay? It's fucking mean. And that's the thing, like, this guy was being, like, I can understand this guy probably had no intention of hurting my feelings, because I think he was just, like, maybe thought that I was capable of withstanding that level of, like, banter and ridicule. But I was not. I wasn't. And I just, like, it's also, like, they're just, like, I was in a really torn state after finishing, like, hanging out with him. I was so upset with him. And I didn't exactly hide it very well. He was like, hey, that was really fun. Like, I'm glad hey, thanks for coming with me. I'm like, that was really fun. And he's like, did you have fun? And I said, very sarcastically, like, said, sure. And I was being very, like, clear with my facial expression that I was not impressed. Because every time I opened my mouth, I would get, like, critiqued about, like, how loud my voice was. Or, like, I would get critiqued about the fact that I stutter. And I just, like, and like, or like, he just like would make fun of the things that I liked, and like he also was not invested or engaged in like anything. It felt like anything I had to say at all. So I'm just like in this position where I'm like torn. I'm like, is that like, am I just like being a pussy? Like, am I a pussy and just can I not take the heat kind of thing, or is there just things that like, you know? When is it just like, I think like because I think he just like, it's a thing of like, say I just did it again. I just think it's a thing of like, he like, once people play too much, like it's just like eventually like there has to come a point where you sprinkle in a little bit of lightness. You like, because when two people are trying to like develop a friendship, you need to at least sprinkle in a little bit of kindness here, there. You got to have a little bit of like camaraderie, but it just felt so vicious. The air of it. And it's like, and I don't know why, but like all day I've not been able to like let go of it. Like it's, and like I've just been thinking about it and replaying it over and over in my head, and it's like been making me like really upset. And it just like, it's not even like the things that he said. It was like I know that I like my clothes. I know that I dress well. Like, I know that I'm not fat. I know that I'm not annoying. I know that like my voice just gets expressive sometimes. Like, and that's like, I don't feel ashamed of any of those things, and I'm not gonna let this guy make me feel ashamed of those things. But it was just the fact, it felt like he was trying to humiliate me. Like, he was being such an asshole. And in fairness, like, in reaction to it, I was kind of biting back a little bit. And then I went a little off. I went a little off the deep. I went a little, like, in on him at, like, the end. But that was after a whole fucking build-up. And of me, like, trying to, like, oh, yes, I was bantering as well, but I also, like, was asking him about, like, real stuff. Like, about, like, whether he wants to get, like, married, have kids, like we were talking about like the proper stuff of like, and I was asking about like, he had this like show that he made with his friends, and I watched a whole fucking episode of it because I wanted to like be engaged in the things he's interested in. And it's like, he also like fucking like, I asked him, I gave him an opportunity to like open up just like about like one of his ex-partners and stuff, about like something to do with that. Like, I just was trying to like at least balance it out a little bit, and it just felt like there was no balance with him. He was just so like mean. And I don't know why it's affecting me this much. That's like the thing. So like I don't know, like I'm just like really confused as to why this has hurt me so bad. Because like, what, a guy said like some mean things in jest to me? Like, that happens with my friends all the time. This did feel like a little bit more relentless, but like, But like, I don't know why it's like affecting me so bad. Because I think I built it up a lot in my head of like, this guy, like I seemed really interested in him, and like for once it kind of felt like things were going in a really good direction, and again it just gets like thrown back in my face, and I'm just like, I'm getting like a little sick of just men constantly fucking up in my life, and just like things like, and these guys just like not being like, I just feel like it's just so hard not to think that it's me. And I'm just like the common denominator that just like I cannot find just like a half decent guy. And it's maybe that like, you know, the thing that I like invested a lot of emotional energy into this, thinking that like maybe it was different, and then it just turned out to be like everything else. And I also just don't know how to like handle it now, like after the fact. Like, I don't know, like, do I just ghost him? Oh, mum and dad are, hold on. God, my mum and dad are pulling out of the garage. I don't want them to see me crying. They're gonna get really worried. What? Sorry. Hey, what's up? Great, now I got 2 parking fines on top of that. Can the day get any fucking worse? Oh, God. But now I just don't, I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to, like, fucking deal with, like, because I'm like, do I just ghost the fucker? Do I just, like, not give him the time of day? Like, part of me feels like that's the mature thing to do. Like, he doesn't, like, after treating me like that, he doesn't really, like, deserve my honesty or, like, to know how I really felt about it. I think he should just, like, suffer the consequences of actions, and the consequence would be me not talking to him anymore. But unfortunately, I'm in a crossroads where it doesn't feel like, I don't think I have that much of a grasp on my self-worth, that me not speaking to him ever feels like that much of a punishment. I think he'd actually really care that much, and that upsets me, because I just wanted him to send me a message afterwards and apologize. wanted him to understand that you hurt my feelings. And so I decided to take the day just to think about it and think about what I want to do, like, about it. And part of me's like, do I just ask to call him and just let him know? Because maybe he doesn't know how hurtful this is, and maybe he would never intend it to be that way. I'm sure he didn't. So should I just let him know and just figure that out? Because that's the thing, it's like intention versus action here. Like, but like, regardless of like his intention, surely he, like, I feel like if you don't understand how the way he acted was incredibly, like, just mean, then he clearly doesn't have that much self-awareness. And I don't know, like, is there even a point in engaging with somebody on an intellectual level, having a conversation about it with them when they had lacked so much self-awareness? I don't want to have to spell out how someone hurt my feelings and have them be blithely unaware of that. I don't know. But it's just hurt me a lot. I'm just like, I'm really struggling to grasp why it's hurt me so profoundly. Like, a guy that I slept with once, and we hung out this one other time, and we had a drunk phone call. Like, what the fuck? Like, why do I care so much? I don't know, man. Probably because I'm a little bit desperate, and I'm desperate to be loved, and I'm just wanting to I will make something out of anything to make it mean something more, with the hopes and prayers that me thinking that will make it true. And I will get what maybe it is that seems that I really want, is just companionship and to matter to somebody. I don't know, girl. Anyway, thanks for watching me cry. It's just stuff and things. I'll figure out what to do. I'm taking the day to think about it. And once all this emotion is like settled a little bit, I think I'll have a clearer idea of what I need to do.